Hello, I'm Kathleen Hart, and welcome to my show. I'm so glad you could join me this evening. I want to talk to you a little bit about a recent trip I took, not so much about the place itself, but some of the experiences that I went through there. I was on a spiritual retreat last week. I went to Teotihuacan, an ancient Toltec and Mayan site, and I'm told it's actually even older than that, but nobody really knows for sure. The neat thing for me about visiting these ancient sacred sites is the transformation that happens while you're there. You receive messages about things you need to clear, heal, and release. And it helps you grow spiritually as a person and just level up, raise your energy, raise your vibrations, and grow yourself, become a better version of yourself. What I found, and this would be different for everybody, but I had to face some of my fears. I had some things come up that I hadn't thought about in so long. I thought they were gone. I actually had a young childhood trauma resurface, and it had to do with something I witnessed as a very small child, about the age of 2, something I have no conscious memory of. But apparently, I was in a department store with my grandmother, and I saw an older woman fall down an escalator and roll at the bottom, get all scratched up, just screaming bloody murder. Scared me so bad that it's something I've carried with me ever since, even if I don't consciously remember it. What it turned into as I got older was an absolute terrifying fear of being on an escalator. I could not set foot on one without panicking, without feeling like an electric shock run through my whole body just setting my foot on one. I had to be carried on and carried off. As I got a little bit older, it got easier, but I had to have somebody there to hold my hand. We're talking, preschool age here. Uh, I remember friends teasing me about it endlessly when I was a kid, and it's something that I didn't know how to get past at the time. As I got older, that fear of the escalators and the fear of falling transferred to stairs, which was also something I could be teased about quite often in school. And it's something that it stays with you a remarkably long time. I learned to get past it, to tolerate it, but it's never really gone away. I didn't even realize it was still with me because I don't have to climb stairs that often. And when I do, there are very familiar ones like at home or at work, places I'm at frequently. What I found is this showed up for me because there were stone steps to climb at this site, steps that were very shallow, steps that were very tall and irregular in height, slightly irregular in shape. So there was some challenge in getting up and down. And I found that I had to very quickly confront that fear and release it. And I was determined that I was not going to miss anything on this trip. I wasn't going to let that slow me down at all. And I kept just working through it until it was essentially gone. And I think that applies to a lot of people who have a lot of old fears that they're working through. And just know it can be done. Don't give up, be determined, and you'll get through it just fine. And I see we have a caller. Kaylana, do you have a question for me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
You have a question tonight. Something you
You
need
hear me?
guidance on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
What was the question? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Do you have a question tonight?
Um, I was just wondering if I could talk to when my grandmother passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Was this very recently? Or this has been a little bit longer?
Like it was in August.
August. Okay. Not that long ago. Um, this was something that was not completely unexpected, but at the same time felt rather sudden.
Yes, sounds about right.
I feel like there's something about this that is going to give you a new perspective. Something she's showing me looking down from above. She's watching over you. She is concerned for you, but she wants you to know that she's okay. No more suffering, no more pain, no more worries. She's there for you, and you can talk with her anytime you wish to. Just speak out, call her name. She can hear you. And if you sit and be very still, very quiet, and think about her, you may be able to pick up on clues she's sending you. Small messages, something very subtle. And I feel like she's actually going to leave you small clues. I'm not sure if it's going to be pennies. Some small object is going to turn up that you'll notice and it will remind you of her. Does that make sense? Maybe you've already seen something.
Yes, we saw like this pickle. She used to love pickles.
Lovely, lovely. I think you're going to see a lot more pickles. And just remember to think of grandma when you see them. Did you have any specific questions?
What do you say?
Do you have any specific questions? Something you were concerned about? Something you're not sure about?
Yeah, I just have a question. I
Go
was
ahead.
wondering if does she think I should start doing channeling myself?
I highly recommend it. I have found it to be a fascinating experience. It can be very comforting. It can be very informative. Um, I recently had experience with watching someone else do a full trance channel, and it can be quite entertaining as well as educational. If you have the opportunity to pursue that, I highly recommend it. I think you'll get a
Okay,
lot
but
out of it.
um, but what do you got to know when when you're a beginner of doing it?
I would recommend find a teacher who is experienced in it, perhaps somebody you can sit with locally. If you don't have anybody close to you, look into an online class via Zoom or Skype. You can get a lot out of those as well. There are quite a few good channeling teachers out there. So take a look,
Is it
do a
cheaper?
Google search, see who you resonate with, somebody you feel like you'd be comfortable with, that it just feels right. I think you'll know when you find the right one. Anything else?
Is it dangerous? Is it dangerous if you do it like
I
without a
would,
teacher?
um, I would recommend you start with the teacher to help you prepare yourself to do a meditation, call in your guides for protection. Doing it on your own, I really don't recommend, just because if you don't have experience in it, you're not quite sure what you're going to get into. I don't think it's especially dangerous, but they'll help you get into it better. You'll be more comfortable about it. And when you're protected by your guides, you don't have to worry about the information you're getting. You're not going to get anything negative. You're not going to get anything scary. You're not going to get anything that can hurt you. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I do have a question for her.
Okay. Very briefly, we're about out of time.
I just have one question. That's it. I was wondering if she was mad at me because I didn't get to see her before she had passed.
Absolutely not. She knows why you couldn't be there. She knows you were thinking about her, and everything's fine. Never be afraid to contact her. Just call out her name. She's listening.
Okay.
Take care. Good night.